What an awesome conversation with Sharon and talking about Joyous and their program. I learned so much and I'm really excited for what this is doing for people, being able to not only access therapy, but also the ketamine treatment and then integrate it with their therapy for some very impressive results as far as anxiety and depression and PTSD.
Yeah, I learned so much about ketamine. I mean, I know so many people who have tried it and are using it, for various things and for microdosing, but I never really understood the practice of using it alongside therapy. That sounds amazing. And the results, right?
The results are so impressive.
80,000 patients have been studied and 75% are feeling better. Just that alone is amazing.
Yeah. And I love the affordability, the way that it's making it accessible, because we know that's a huge problem. So well done, Sharon and Joyous. And I think you're going to find something really helpful for you here, or for maybe someone you love, someone who could really benefit.
Yeah. Everybody listen in. It's a good one.
The world is a lot right now. Are you feeling it? We all need new tools to help us walk through the chaos with grace, ease, and compassion for each other and for ourselves. In this podcast, you'll hear from parents, educators, and other experts who can bring perspective to the monumental job of parenting. It's time to level up and be warriors for our kids and our communities. This is the Warrior Parent Podcast. I'm Marci Mitchell.
And I'm Debbie DiManno. As parents, we understand that it really does take a village to raise our kids. We hope that this podcast serves to create and support that community for you. Join us as we discuss and practice our core tools, which are proven mind-body techniques that can be used by anyone to improve your life on a daily basis.
Welcome back to the Warrior Parent Podcast. We're so grateful you're joining us. We're really excited to have Sharon Niv, a PhD and a cognitive psychologist, exploring how contemplative and therapeutic methods can reshape mental wellness. Her work spans mindfulness, cognitive science, and the psychology of consciousness, with a special focus on how altered or expanded states of mind can promote emotional growth and resilience. In 2022, Sharon co-founded Joyous PBC, a public benefit company dedicated to making mental health care more affordable and accessible through low-dose or psycholytic approaches to ketamine therapy. At Joyous, she leads clinical research, designs digital therapeutics optimized for the psycholytic state, and developed Joyous for Therapists, a free training and collaboration program helping clinicians integrate these methods safely into their practice. She's also a mom and deeply dedicated to helping moms be their best, calmest, least triggered selves. That is definitely something we're into as well. Sharon's passionate about bringing new insights to the conversation on mental health, how lighter touch, more personalized approaches to psychoactive medicine can unlock self-understanding, compassion, and long-term healing. She hopes to share with our audience how cognitive mechanisms of psycholytic and psychedelic medicine can inform a new era of personalized, evidence-based mental wellness. I read all that because it's so good, and we're so excited to have you on. So thank you for being here, Sharon.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited for this conversation.
Me too.
That was a mouthful. Good job, Marci. Yay.
We won't talk about how many tries it took. Or as you know, I did it all together at once.
All right. Well, we are super excited to have Sharon here today. Believe it or not, little old me has actually tried some ketamine. Yay. Good job, Mom. Or soon to be grandma. I don't know. But anyway, I'm happy to have this conversation and dive deep. I think we've been wanting to have this conversation for a while.
Yes.
We have lots of people in our own sphere who have tried this. Some maybe work, some maybe doesn't. And so we're going to get the 101 on ketamine today. So Sharon, why don't you just get us started with ketamine and exactly like what it does and how it works.
Ketamine has been a legal medication since the 50s, I believe.
Oh, wow.
It was discovered in the 50s. No, it was FDA approved in the 70s. Pardon me. It
Okay.
is a
Okay.
very, very safe medication that had been used anesthesia, OR type stuff for
Hmm.
many, many decades, and it was only by kind of like accidental discovery that doctors started finding out that there are some really significant mental health benefits to ketamine. It's like
Hmm.
kind of interesting. Some of the stories that originally came forth were people in the ER emerging from having been given ketamine for trauma or surgery, whatever needs to happen, and just reporting that they feel a significant improvement in mood. Suicidality disappears virtually overnight. It's one of the most immediate treatments we have for suicidality, for acute
Wow.
suicidality. And so research on ketamine and mental health emerged like 26 years ago ish, right around the turn of the century. And there is a lot of work that looks at ketamine at much higher doses. And so you might have heard of like IV clinics where people go in and have treatments. And that's effective for sure. But
Hmm.
what we do is really quite different. It
Hmm.
is what you might think of as microdosing. And,
Hmm.
I want to be specific with what that word means because, some people have heard of microdosing, say psilocybin, magic mushrooms, and that's supposed to be sub-perceptual. Like you're not supposed to be able to really notice anything. You're just maybe a little brighter, a little happier. This is
Yes.
not sub-perceptual. Like there is the psycholytic state, we laughed about that word a lot. The psycholytic state is a shifted state, but it's about as like altered as you might feel after a glass and a half of wine. So,
Hmm.
like you can be a little bit altered on alcohol, or you can be,
Yeah.
completely blotto. You don't recognize anything that's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
With ketamine, there's even a wider variance. Like at very, very high doses, it's anesthetic. You're out. At
Hmm.
Hmm.
slightly lower doses, it's closer to what we might think of as psychedelic. Like there are visuals. You do feel like you're in a way out of your body. It can be very profound, and there are many benefits to that as well, but that's also not what we're doing here. Take it down a little lower is what we're doing here.
Hmm.
And as I said, it's kind of like ketamine tipsy, but the benefits of this state are profound, and we're on the verge of finally submitting our chart review for like research publication, and it looks at over 50,000 patients. We've treated 90,000 so far, and it looks at
Wow.
over yeah
Wow. That's a massive undertaking. I
yeah
did a lot of medical research back in the day. If you could get 10, 20,000, you were doing really good. But that's massive.
Well
Absolutely.
done.
It is. But the outcomes are so beautiful. It's
Mm.
like a hockey stick of people's, both anxiety and depression. We have two measures, just like dropping and then staying there. Yeah, it is a very, very effective mental health tool.
Yeah.
And I am really happy to get into like all the reasons why that is, but that's just
Oh
kind of
my
the
goodness.
overview. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You talk about anxiety and depression. So is there PTSD? Is there all kinds of things you can so it's sort of wide open. We don't even know all the uses because we're just starting to understand it. Is that what I hear you say?
I think that's correct. We know it works really well for anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Those are all indications that we treat patients at
Hmm.
Joyous. That said, we have only recently started tracking trauma symptoms with a tool called the PCL5. So we're not going to be able to put that in the paper, but we are
Okay.
hearing from individuals with histories of trauma. Certainly, their depression and anxiety scores are dropping significantly as much as anyone
Hmm.
else's, if not more. But and so it does seem to be very, very effective for the emotional response and the anxious response that can accompany
Mm.
trauma.
Well, and so many
Yeah.
times all those things are intermingled, right?
Yeah.
Right.
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 It's very few
Yeah.
people who are probably just completely depressed without having some of the other things, or maybe some
Sure.
trauma, or like whatever, right?
Absolutely.
It's all
Right.
wound in there together.
We're
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
complicated beings.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, can you talk a little bit about what does the treatment look like? How long have you been doing it? And then what does that look like for someone who's interested in trying it?
Yeah. We've been treating patients for about 4 years now. I think it's July 2022. And the way it looks is that it's a telehealth service. So patients come in, They go through a questionnaire that kind of looks at some basic contraindications. For example, history of psychosis, probably not a good idea.
Okay.
Uncontrolled blood pressure also contraindicated. Things like
Mm.
that. Provided that you can that you don't have any major contraindications, you fill out a longer intake form, about 15 minutes worth of 10, 15 minutes of filling out medical history, personal history, family history, and then you make an appointment with a provider. We have 28 states that we're in, and we have providers in all of them. The appointment itself usually lasts between 15 and 20 minutes. Both the provider and you get to ask questions, make sure it's a good fit, and if everyone agrees that this is a treatment they might want to try, first of all, only then are you asked to pay. So you can consult, you can go in, you can ask your questions of the provider
Great.
without paying anything. We want people to make informed choices. The medicine is sent to your home, and we send a 30-day supply. And so when you receive the medicine, you let us know when you'd like to start. And on that date, we start sending you both instructions, how to take it. It is, the first few doses are so minuscule that they really could be considered microdose, sub-perceptual. And you stick it between your gum and your cheek. It's like a little thing that just dissolves into your cheek. And then we send you check-in questionnaires that look at your symptoms, your sleep, your mood, your side effects, and a couple of other factors that help our medical algorithm sort of figure out what is the right dosage for you, when we recommend you to take it, whether or not you should be splitting your dose or not. And so it does get quite personalized in that way. So most patients are taking the medicine daily for 6 weeks at the very least. And frankly, it's like an enjoyable state for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I want to be careful with how I say this because many people, in fact, in the first week might have a significant emotional experience. And we kind of liken that to like a limb coming back from being asleep and all the prickly feelings that come.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting analogy to take because sometimes you've been so frozen from feeling your feelings, and I'm happy to get into the cognitive science, but regardless, ketamine helps you actually feel the feelings with a sense of safety.
Yeah.
But sometimes when it's like, oh, I'm going to
Overwhelm.
open those gates a little bit. Yeah, sometimes you get like a big
rush
cry experience, a release.
Yeah.
And so like I don't want to say it's just like pleasant from, day one, but it is, for the most part, people enjoy, the 40 minutes. It lasts about 40 minutes, the 40 to 60, depends on the person. The experience is usually a calm one, an interesting one where you get some perspective shifts, just kind of the way that it works in the networks in the brain. And things just process. They kind of process on their own. So within the first 6 weeks, most patients find the right dose, at which point we ask them whether they'd like to switch to weekly check-ins rather than daily check-ins. And we also let them know that at that point, when it seems like there's been enough of a symptom drop and they have enough medicine sort of in their brain, they should start experimenting with what the right cadence is for them. Is it every other day, every 2 days? Like the hope is not ketamine every day forever, certainly. Yeah, but we do.
What is the hope? What would be like kind of the ideal situation?
My ideal patient comes between 6 and 12 months, uses this time effectively, builds positive habits, works with their therapist to like touch the sources of their deeper pains, repairs their attachment system, do the work. This is the time to come in and do the work, and then graduate, graduate and come back if life gets at you, because life might.
And then it could be just like a kind of a check-in, take a little and sort of bring yourself
maybe
back
another
up.
month or two, or maybe at that point you're fundamentally in a different place and you already want to start out with only 2-3 times a week. I don't know. It's very individual.
Right.
But yeah.
And you said in the beginning you're having this daily check-in with your therapist, and so what does that look like?
It's not with your therapist. So because one of our aims is to be the most affordable
Right.
option for this kind of medicine.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it is month to month 159 or 129 if patients are able to commit to 3 months.
Wow.
So
And that includes the medication.
that
That's
includes the
the whole program.
medication. That's the whole program. It includes the medication, any
Mm.
number of meetings with follow-ups with your provider, all the content and meditations and exercises that we put on.
Mm.
Um, but it doesn't include a therapist. As you can imagine, that's not
Gotcha.
enough
Yeah.
to pay a therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a
Okay.
lot. That's
So
a
the
lot.
check-ins for the patients who come in without a therapist are just via text. And we track them over time. We reach out if there's, a sense that symptoms have risen or there's suicidality, or, they write us like a mini journaling thing in the check-ins as well. And so we will sometimes follow up on things that they say and
Mm-hmm.
try to provide resources, etc. But with a therapist, our hope is that patients bring in their dosing on the day of therapy, because
Okay.
the way that it enhances our ability to be open and unresistant in therapy is immense.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's almost like a plug into your therapy. It's an
Right.
additional with your
Yeah.
therapist who you already have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Hey, we just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about something very exciting that Debbie and I and our team have been working on for literally years. And that is our Cour Tools app, which is now available at the Google Play Store and at the Apple Store. And you can sign up for it now and you will get access to all the tools we've been talking about on the podcast.
And if you're an early adopter of Cour Tools, you can get a VIP price for $49 for a lifetime. That's
Lifetime.
right.
Buy it once and we'll keep
Lifetime.
updating it too.
Yes, yes. So we're super excited about this. Go to Apple Store, go to Google Play, and purchase it now.
Cour Tools, COUR, capital TOOLS.
Go get it. So you talk about a little bit the neuroplasticity, and Marci and I talk about this all the time. Like, okay, for me, a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of work, like 30 years of therapy, like a lot. And so I didn't have any of these resources, right?
Mm.
But I imagine, mine is just peeling and digging, but to be able to have ketamine and just be able to be much more open, right? Can exacerbate the so much more quickly, right? Like you don't have to sit in your shit for 30 years, right?
Right. That's really it. It's an amplifier. That's the word that's escaping me right now.
Yeah. So do you think it's the medicine itself that helps with the rewire, or is it just it just opens you up? Ketamine, like it opens you up, and then you're able to do the work you said, because you use like all the tools that we teach people how to do, but not with ketamine,
Right.
right? Just breathing and
Right.
meditation and all the things, right?
Journaling and yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's both, and the mechanisms are, interesting to understand on both ends. So ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic. So in these lower doses, the state could be described as like a partial dissociation. And what that means is you just kind of feel bigger than your body. Like you feel like you're a big room and you can still feel your feelings and the nervous system sensations, but there's more space for them. So partially what that allows for on the more medicine automatic side of the answer is that our system is intelligent. It kind of knows how to release the energy that's been stuck here unless we resist it. And we often resist it because it's painful.
Yes,
So when you
exactly.
have that spaciousness, it kind of releases on its own to a large extent. But in addition to that, because it's such a neuroplastic state, what you do matters. It could work on its own, but if you took ketamine and just, decided to beat yourself up and watch a horror movie, do something like not
Something
conducive,
negative.
you're squandering the opportunity.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
So knowing this other step of like working with the therapist is then the ideal that you take it right before your therapy session, so that 40 minutes or so is you're really, like you say, using it in the best way.
Yes. Yes.
That is interesting. I didn't get that at all. And let me ask you another question just while we're on this. When you're in your 40 minutes, can you drive? Can you drive to like
Great
what are
question.
the yeah.
Our recommendation for our patients is not to drive for 2 hours after they first put the medicine in. The medicine
Okay.
lasts 40 to 60 minutes, and then our recommendation is please don't drive for an hour after. So that might mean
Mhm.
Uber, that might mean telehealth, that might mean
Yeah.
taking your work to the Starbucks down the street, but I think it's
Hanging out for a minute.
ideal to be safe. Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah. So what I am so excited about is like we have made so many strides now and
Mm,
really around mental health. I mean, even from the time Marcy and I started doing this work, 2017, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, like we've come so far and we have yet so far to go because we have been so stagnant for so long because of
Right.
the silly drug thing that we all experience, right? But um, what I'm most excited about is accessibility. You talk about that for Marcy and I, it's like, we bang our heads against the wall, like nobody can get to a therapist. We went through the COVID thing and, maybe that helped because there was a lot of therapy that came online during that time. A lot of people needed it. So that probably jump started us. But so talk about you talked about how much it costs and accessibility, so talk about that in conjunction with perhaps getting some therapy to go along with it. Is that
Yeah.
it's become more accessible just because you can Zoom your therapist now versus
Right.
right going into it, sitting in an office, that sort of thing. But
Yes. So part of the aim of the company is to educate as many therapists as possible about how to work with this medicine. So we built a certificate program with an academic institution that trains therapists. It's called Palo Alto University, and they helped us produce this full CEs for the therapists listening, 11.5 CEs, continuing education units for not therapists.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
The aim is to get as many therapists aware of this opportunity as possible because
wow,
therapists may have heard about psychedelic therapy, which is, by the way, awesome. Not here to say
Right.
anything negative about that. It's
Yeah.
just that that's not conducive to psychotherapy. That means the client is on the floor, eyes shades, they're in their own journey. They may say a few things that you jot down and then you integrate later. It's
Right.
important. It's important work, but it's not conducive to the psychotherapeutic methods that therapists are trained in. It doesn't work with IFS. It doesn't work with somatic experiencing, with AEDP. So this does. This
Mm,
does. If you can,
oh
I'm not saying take a shot of whiskey and go to therapy, but if you can imagine doing that and still being able to
right.
hold a conversation,
Yes.
yes,
it's roughly that level of impairment. So you're actually just,
Right.
and probably even taking away the anxiety and the constriction around reaching some of these topics probably
Right.
makes us more conducive to therapy.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like a counter impairment,
Yeah.
there, and it just plays so nicely with so many therapists. I thought, for example, CBT being, the cognitive behavioral paradigm, I was
Right.
like, well, that's so it's kind of dry. It's not about the body. I doubt it would work well together. And then this therapist called me and said, it's perfect. It helps
Mm,
it helps the narrative mind quiet down enough that they have a new shifted perspective on
yes.
their distorted beliefs. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense too.
There you
It's
go.
yeah. So it's a disruptor. It's a pattern disruptor.
Which is
yeah,
exactly
Yeah.
what I feel like this feels like the micro use of it, but like on a macrocosm, this is really like what the world needs. We need a disruptor.
Yeah.
We need to we need to look at the world differently because we get societally, we get all of these ideas and there's shame and there's judgment and there's things in our head that keep us from, like you say, being able to get there to share the stuff. So something that helps you just be present with yourself and then do that work in a way that doesn't feel quite, it sounds like doesn't feel so frightening, doesn't feel so shameful, doesn't hurt as much, doesn't like because you got to do the work, but if you can do it in a, it's like almost like maybe a judgment free zone. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but just being able to, because that's like the biggest step a lot of times I think for people is to be able to say whatever, this happened to me, or this is my shame, or this is the thing, this is the dark secret that I can't bring up because nobody else has this dark secret that I have. I'm the worst. And being able to just be like, oh, here it is. And now let's talk about it. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcy, I love that you said that. I'm actually going to send you guys, if you want, for the show notes, like the little testimonial reel I have for Joyce for therapists.
Yeah.
Literally, a patient in there says, "I felt that feeling of just I need to say what's true for me," and I
Yeah.
said it, and how freeing it was. Right?
Right.
That's really it.
Yes.
It
Well
does. It's
done. Well done.
the
Yeah.
judgment free, the critic. Like
Yeah.
Inner
quiets
critic.
down a little,
Yeah.
enough for some movement to occur.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is exciting to hear about.
Yeah, wow. So you
Yeah.
talked about legality. So it became legal
Sure.
in, would you say 74 or something?
70s. Yes.
Lord have
70
mercy.
something. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that being so is that just California or is that like a federal thing? Can anyone
The federal thing
in any state can get it, but it has to be prescribed
has to be prescribed. Yeah.
by a therapist or by a physician?
Definitely a physician.
Okay.
Um, and it needs to be a physician with a DEA license. So
Okay.
some
Which
PCPs.
this is why like the system's so perfect because like both of my kids are in therapy. They have
Mhm.
great therapists that they've great,
Yeah.
created relationships with, but they're not able to prescribe stuff. And
Correct.
before for my son, we had specifically had to go to a psychiatrist because I felt like he needed something. His therapist did too. It was like maybe we need to try something. So we had to go through this whole process. We didn't have insurance at the time. We had to pay out of pocket. Like it was hard. And luckily we got a
Yeah.
good psychiatrist the first time. There's history here. We've had some that are good, some that aren't. My son's autistic, so he can't just talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So for his person that he already trusts to be able to do the work while someone else is bringing in that prescription, like that is, and
Wow.
again, back to, we're privileged in that we could find a way to do that and be able to pay 350 to $400 for a few sessions. And those were phone sessions too, but just so we could get the medication that he needed. But a lot of people, that's going to be end of it. It's like, oh, we could really benefit from this, but we can't do it. And that's just it because it's not possible. So the affordability is pretty exciting and really important.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've heard in the news that speaking of legality, that the psilocybins and whatever are going to become more accessible. They're taking down some of the
Yeah.
rules and regulations. Is this
Yeah.
true, or are we just
Yeah.
pretending
Trump
this is going to
made
happen? Huh?
No, I think he means it. Trump made an
Yeah.
executive order. I think he
Wow.
even joked, "Someone give me some." Great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Great idea.
Yeah. We
We're
all
all for
world
it.
leaders, all world
Yeah.
leaders
Yeah.
could use a little connection to
For
divine
real.
love, I think.
For
Um,
real.
yeah. Yeah,
But wow,
it's
like
very
that's
exciting.
long overdue, right? Like
Yeah.
this.
Yes, and yet, it didn't surprise me because it's one of the true cross the aisle issues with veterans and
Yes.
PTSD.
Yes.
This is one thing that no one disagrees on, healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to be healed, you know?
Yeah. We've done
Yeah.
a lot of work with veterans too,
Yeah,
and we've lost good friends. And
Yeah.
boy, this could have helped a lot of them, right? Who just flat
yeah,
out have suffered their whole lives,
Yeah.
trying to just figure
Yeah.
something out,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had Deb and I talked, I feel like it was a year ago or something. There was a piece on NPR and they were talking about some veterans who had actually formed a church so that they could use psilocybin as their medicine, and they were
Right.
doing that work. So
Beautiful.
and having
Beautiful.
incredible experience, incredible results.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. And
great.
so speaking of results, do you have any statistics? We talked about that hockey stick.
Hockey
Like
stick.
what kind of numbers are you seeing as far as this
Very,
improvement?
very good ones.
Yeah.
So we recently brought in a research team from University of Alberta, University of Calgary. For some reason, just that's who we connected with.
Hmm.
And they changed the numbers that I was reporting slightly, so I don't want to like misspeak, but I think it's something like 70, 70 something percent like major response rate, like 50% of
Wow.
symptoms or more. I really hope I'm not getting that wrong, but I
Well,
believe that's what we're
yeah,
looking at. I
that's
will say
amazing.
it is. It came out better than any known antidepressant, anti-anxiety treatment.
Oh,
Um, I will say that it's not for absolutely everyone. Something like
yeah.
Mhm.
15 to 20% of people who come in just don't like how it feels enough. And then there's also some research to suggest that the people who don't benefit psychologically from it also may get some like cognitive impairment as a result. So it's really
Mhm.
a thing where we tell
Uh,
people trust your intuition. Don't like
Yeah.
right.
force yourself to be on this for
If
three
it's
months
not
if it's
feeling
not
right.
feeling right.
Yeah.
But the majority of people do get benefits. Yeah.
What are the possible side effects?
Yeah. The biggest one we see is that it's so energizing that it can disrupt sleep if it's taken too close to bedtime.
Oh,
On
okay.
the counter of that, some percentage of people between 10 and 15 take it and sleep better than they've ever slept. So this is just like, it's just a pointer to neurodiversity. So
Right. And what is
play
it
with
that
that.
keeps you from sleeping, right? And if
Right,
it's
right,
something
right.
that you're resolving from that. Okay.
Who knows? And then the another thing that we get, like up to 10% of people experience some nausea. We work with them around, like what to eat beforehand, how to and
Right.
it's similar to motion sickness more than like stomach sickness. So as you get more used
Oh,
to it, that tends to kind of resolve.
interesting.
Um, some people, I mean, so lightheadedness is to be expected. That's kind of part of that, like
Part
going
of the
bigger than your body
sensation.
state. If you're very dizzy, that we'd consider that a side effect, or like moderately even dizzy, we would take you down. Like we don't want you
Hmm.
moderately dizzy. We don't want you dissociated. We want you feeling bigger than your body, like that partial dissociation, but not dissociation, not out of body.
Yeah.
That's not a
Yeah.
side effect necessarily. It's just something that we don't consider um,
Yeah. You
uh,
might be
adaptive.
need a lower dose that you're
Correct.
having a bigger experience than
Yeah.
is indicated or what you're trying for.
Yes.
Hmm.
So yeah, the nausea, the dizziness, the sleep disruption. Some people, because they're not used to the sensations of it, it can enhance anxiety at first, and we kind of help them like work through that and stick with it until it
Hmm.
resolves. And rarely we also hear of headaches. But I'm just thinking of like what are all the things I hear.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the full list. Yeah.
Interest. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't.
But no weight gain, no sexual side effects. It is compatible with other medications, so you don't have to
Oh,
come
yeah,
off of
that's a good
anything.
question. So if you're
Yeah,
already taking an anti-anxiety or
no
any
problem.
depressant,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And do you find that some people maybe are able to reduce? Like, is that something you've looked into at
absolutely.
all? Nice.
Huge. Yeah, huge
Nice.
number
Oh,
of
that's
people.
great.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm curious about that. So the lasting effects. So your study with these 80,000 people, does it show then people coming off of the medicine? You said if that's the ultimate goal,
Yeah.
probably not long enough to figure that out, right? Yeah.
Correct. So we send out follow-up surveys, but
Yeah.
like we require patients in the program to do our check-ins or they can't do a refill, they can't see their provider. Like you need to give us
Yeah.
Right.
you
You
need
got
to
to
give
put,
us
Something.
like information that you're doing okay so that we can
Yeah.
continue. We can't force anyone to take the follow-up
right.
survey. There's
Yeah.
Right.
so
That's
it's
the
Because
hard
they're
part.
out.
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Well,
so
and
it's
it
like
sounds like to me, based on what you were saying, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but one of the things that could make it more long term is now they've done that work, like you said, they've done the work, and so they have new skills, and maybe they brought new tools in, and that critic they've kind of gotten under control. Like I know with my son, he can be so self-critical, and that if he could just let that guy go, it's not necessarily a clinical thing that's happening in him. It's like a learned behavior that if he could unlearn that he would just
mhm,
be much happier. So,
yes.
which
Yeah.
is, I mean, that feels like a great goal to get to a place where we always talk about this. We talk about the world is out there and the world is being the world. Like the world knows how to go crazy. And right now is like the biggest demonstration most of us have ever experienced. And but the key is always where are you? Like, how can you stay centered in the madness, or are you going to become part of it? So, when you learn those skills, when you learn whatever it is that you need to learn to be able to say I'm okay, or I'm safe, or let me breathe, let me calm myself. And then I'm going to go back out and the world's still doing the world stuff, but now I'm different. I'm more regulated. I'm centered, and I can show up as a light, as a helpful thing, as someone who's going to see someone who needs help, or someone who's just going to not see it or pretend it doesn't exist, but just handle it from a regulated, centered.
Totally.
Yeah. And I just feel like that's just so key.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Wow. Oh my God, I could talk to you all day long.
This has been
We're
fascinating.
probably running out of time.
We
But
are.
how do people find you? Because I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be called, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have 80,000 patients. I don't know how you have an extra hour in the day.
How do we find Joyous? Joyous.team, TEAM, is the website. If you're interested in meeting one of our providers and seeing whether it's a good fit, please have a look. Me personally, I'm on Substack at Sharon Niv at .substack.com.
Do you also have a personal practice? Do you see patients?
I'm a cognitive psychologist, not a clinical psychologist. So
Okay. So you're just, you're doing the research and
doing the
coming up.
research.
That's great.
Building the tools. And if therapists are interested in learning more, it's real simple. Joyous.team/therapy. So
Okay.
That's
would love to be your
great.
partners.
Yeah, that is really great.
Totally free to therapists, by the way. Totally free. Completely.
Oh, nice.
Free training, free program. We just want to be your partner.
Excellent. Wow. That's great. And just going back again, so it all starts for the patient with just a phone call, basically, or is it a Zoom call, or it's a
Zoom call?
Zoom call, and that's where you start that whole process of, could this fit for me, and what's it look like? And
they start with a button on the site that says something like "Get started" or "Am I a fit?" And they do a little questionnaire that's just like, "Are you pregnant? Are you over 18? Are you in a state that we serve?"
Screening, yes.
The screening, and then they move on to make an appointment. Yeah.
And real quick, so 18 and over, is pregnancy is a no? You're not going to do it if you're pregnant?
Yeah, I think pregnancy is a no. There's mixed evidence on, or there's insufficient evidence, I should say, on breastfeeding. So we don't recommend it, though. I really
you don't want to be the test case. Yeah. And then you said uncontrolled blood pressure and past psychosis. Some of those
pressure, kinds of psychosis. Yeah. Brain aneurysm history. We have it all up there.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been enlightening.
Marci, it's been so fun.
Wow, it was great to talk with you. Okay, let's help some people, y'all. Check it out.
Thanks for doing what you do.
Oh, thank you.
And now for your core mental health break. This is your opportunity to take a moment to support your mental wellness, your peace of mind, your own ease and grace. Take some time every day to support your mental health. You deserve it, and it matters. Today's affirmation is, everyone deserves love, including me. Say it aloud. Everyone deserves love, including me. Everyone deserves love, including me. Thanks for listening to the Warrior Parent Podcast, which is a production of our nonprofit, Cour Experience, who also creates and distributes Cour tools. You can find us at courexperience.org. Make sure you join us next week for another informative conversation to help you and your family show up mindfully, purposefully, and joyfully with each other and in your community.
Our Cour Tools platform consists of a number of proven tools and techniques that are designed to reduce stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in spite of what's going on in your world. We want to thank Samuel Hale, LLC, for sponsoring this podcast. Technical and marketing support comes from Inspire Your Brand. Our podcast editor is Justin Beeden. Opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the producers, or the financial supporters. I'm Debbie DiManno.
And I'm Marci Mitchell. Thanks for listening. If you resonate with the idea of creating a community to help support kids and families, won't you join us by following the podcast and sharing this episode? You can even write a review. It truly does take a village, and we appreciate you.